Hi, my name's Christopher, this is Zach, we're Dream EV, and we're continuing the progress on our Tesla-powered Vanagon. Very excited about this.
Oh, so excited. And today we get to assemble the rear drive line, which is...
We got swing arms, we got bushings, we got bearings, we got drive shafts, we got CVs, we got boots, we got brake hubs, we got all sorts of fun stuff coming up.
It's just such a good day. Today's the first day where I woke up and it really feels like fall starting to get here. It's nice and crisp and cool. I've got a hot cup of tea. We get to actually put parts back on the Vanagon, like big important parts. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So let's do it. You ready to do it?
That's a good intro, I think. Well, this is it. This is all the parts we're gonna try and get together today.
CVs, big beautiful axles, adapters for going into our Tesla motor. So much fun stuff.
Notably absent is the brake stuff. We're just gonna ignore that for the time being. But this is the entirety of the rear suspension stuff. Oh, and springs. Shocks and springs. Well, you wanna get started?
All right.
Okay. All right, so we got three kinds of bearings to pack. Well, I don't know if this is technically a bearing, but it's a CV. We got this bad boy who's a traditional bearing, a ball in a race that's captured. We got this one with a loose inner race, and then of course the bad boy CV. And we got our CV grease. So there's only one way to do this, and it's not pretty. Nobody really likes doing it, but here goes. Now what you're looking for is the grease to get all the way through the bearing, and you want it squeezing through the top side. Just like that. One. The secret is to disassociate yourself from the experience, and not even process the fact that you got grease everywhere in your feet.
Oh, very slippery.
Yeah, you have to grasp it firmly. Grasp the ring firmly. This is way worse than a bearing, in case anybody's wondering.
So what does the CV stand for?
A CV stands for constant velocity. So with the CV, it rotates at a set speed throughout the entire rotation versus a universal joint, which does surges at extreme angles. So what they do to prevent the surges from ruining your driveline is they put two universals out of phase with each other so that the vibrations cancel each other out. But with the CV, you don't need that because there's no surging.
I feel like I'm a wealth of information, but my information is useless. Whereas your information is like technically important.
I've been preparing my entire life for this moment right here where I can explain the difference between a CV and a universal joint, Zach. It's okay, this is part of the process. Well, Zach, you about ready to press some of these bearings in?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go to the press. To the press. Now we have a hub where the bearing goes has been thoroughly cleaned. You do not want grit in there. The cleaner the better, because grit will destroy a bearing. All right. Give it a squeeze. So I started with the big plate just so that I know I've got, you don't have to worry about anything slipping. Now this is the right size. Bloop. To go down inside. And away we go. Alright. That's it. Alright, time to press in the other bearing. Tricky thing is there's no stop on the back side of this bearing. You just gotta get it right. Now we're just pressing in the seals. Seal goes on. Bloop. I'm using the old bearing because it is the perfect size. Plop. And then just this guy to press against. Yay! Do that 3 more times. I forgot to show you pressing in the shafts. But there they are, pressed in shafts. Let's go see what Mr. Christopher's doing. What you doing, Mr. Christopher?
I am deep into assembling a CV. I got one side more or less done, and then we're about ready to show you how the other side gets together.
Okay.
Alright, so
Terminology is weird.
we start out with an empty shaft that's got nothing on it and pop these dangle bits on. I didn't show you the dangle bits because the dangle bits are difficult. This clamp is just a pain in the butt, so I thought with it. So we fast forwarded through that for you. Next thing you can do is you grab your C-clip, because this C-clip keeps the CV on. It keeps the CV from getting in there too far. Okay. Then pull out our freshly greased CV. Right, you want this stripe guy to the outside of the drive shaft. We want this flange right here to the inside. This is not gospel for every car, but it is for ours. Oh shit. Fast forward, rewind. I forgot this, we're gonna put this on. We're gonna put this on. Okay, I'm putting the other side of my boot on. Right, so this is getting ready to mate up to the CV. Before we put it together forever, we're gonna grab a big old glob of this good stuff. Pop it inside the boot. We're gonna do it again. Then the CV gets popped on. It's got a spline, so it just goes in. It just goes in, just like that. And then we're gonna get split ring washer, which is kind of similar to a C-clip, but not as easy to use, even though people say they're easy to use. Okay. Now we're gonna go for these bolts. That's more or less all the pieces. Now we're gonna protect it from the grease, from the grime in the shop, not the grease in the shop, just the grime. Okay, as exciting as that was, I know, enthralling.
Did you look
Ready to do it again?
Skinny fat?
I didn't. Okay. I did this twice.
We're gonna take a peek under the glove here.
This is probably the important part. These CVs need to be clocked.
Skinny.
And if the CVs aren't clocked, they're gonna wear down faster.
Skinny.
Skinny's up.
Okay, can you see this? You can see it. We got lobes. We got a wide lobe and we got a skinny lobe, and then a wide and then a skinny and then a wide and then a skinny. These are opposite on the inner part of this CV, where it's opposite. So you got a skinny one here, so there'll be a fat one there. And if I scoop away the grease, you can see it. So you got skinny and fat there as well. So what we want is we want these on the left side of the drive shaft and the right side of the drive shaft to be oriented correctly. And the way these are supposed to be oriented is that the faces that see each other are supposed to have the opposite lobes exposed. And you said the skinny one was here?
Yes.
So the fat one needs to be up and opposite.
Yes.
All right, that's it. Okay.
It's like little red caterpillars.
Little red caterpillar climbing up a tree, finding a berry to eat. Nom 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 nom.
Alright,
Is
done?
there anything else we want to know about CVs before we move on, Zach?
I don't think so.
Told them what a CV was, told them why they're important, showed them how to clock them, grease them, schmoo them.
I just want to get them on the car.
All right, let's keep progressing forward then.
Applying some schmoo.
I am. So this is the schmoo for our polyurethane bushings. So we have PowerFlex polyurethane bushings designed for our chassis in a attractive purple profile. And when you use polyurethane bushings, you have to use the right lube. These tend to fail in instances where they run out of lubrication. So we need to find a really goopy lube that wants to stay and just does not want to be displaced by any sort of means. And bushing snot is the recommended product, so that's what we're going with. It does get everywhere and it does get real nasty. So I got a acid brush and I'm being very careful with where it actually goes. And I'm sure Zach won't be touching any of this. Unless you want to. Do you want to get in here too?
I kind of want to stick my finger down in there and see what it feels like.
Do it? No? Okay. Just like so.
Proper application of force. Well, I don't think we need to film that all over again. So there it is. Bushings. Behold. New things going on the van. Big fancy purple bushings. Alright. Alright. Ta-da! Alright, I'm gonna get some anti-seize. And my understanding is a dab will do you with the anti-seize.
A little dab will do you.
So what I'm doing is just going by the paint and putting it where it was when we took it off. That way should be fairly close, and then we can drive it until we get it aligned, and then it'll be dead on. But for the meantime, we're gonna get it close to where it was when we took it off. Maybe I'm putting it back where it was. And then we will torque it to spec, which for these is 100 Newton meters, which is 74 foot-pounds. Which is more than I thought it was. There. Now, the thing that Christopher was looking forward to is once you've torqued the bolt down to spec, you can take a paint marker and then put a mark on it. And then you know that it has been torqued to spec, and also if it ever moves, you will know that it is moved, which it shouldn't. So there you go.
Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to try and assemble most of this drive line outside of the van because of the way the clearances are. It's super tight in there. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up the drive shaft to the output shaft, and then we'll figure out about how we can torque these two down together in a minute. Was that meant to happen?
Nope. They're slippery. They slide off of here very easily. You know, it's like, Here we have our torquing setup, which is the angle iron that we used for getting the castle nuts off and originally. Clamp to the bench. Bolts from the studs go in. Holds it still. And click click, it's torqued. That one gets marked. So we just got back from Vanagon, because we got this whole assembly fed in through the trailing arm and started to get our bolts in, and they're just not going. What the hell's going on? We pull it out, start fiddling around. It's not the right thread size. So the adapter that goes into the Tesla motor is something that gets machined up by EV West, and these bolts came with this setup, and so they weren't right. So we had to go to Vanagon and pick up these, which are same diameter, length, but this is a 3/8 by 24 thread, so it's a standard thread, and these are metric M10 by 1.5 or something. So anyway, got the right bolts. Let's put it in. Okay. I'm ready now. Oh, Big Daddy, yeah. Come on.
Oh, she's going in good.
Look at that drive shaft.
Here you go.
And NSCs.
Okay, give me a sec. I gotta shmoo up my nuts before I can shmoo up yours. Here you go. The lid's open.
Thank you, buddy. Springs! Is that really it?
Yep. Shocks are next.
That's upside down and backwards.
Ah! Shot me. Now we gotta figure out why this wasn't fitting. So, our previous torque wrench, well, I say previous, our other torque wrench doesn't have a high enough torque spec, torque setting to do all the bolts. So, we bought this guy. And oh my gosh, it's so nice. So the other one is, it's, you know, it's probably, not probably, it's cheap for a torque wrench. It does the job.
You don't know how much I paid
cheap
for this torque wrench.
And so the adjustment, like you loosen a screw down here and like you crank on it and it's all like gritty feeling and like kind of tough. This is so nice. You pull that down. It's so smooth on the adjustment. Oh my gosh. It goes all the way to 250 foot-pounds, which is 332 Newton meters. And yeah. It's a pretty significant upgrade for our shop. Thought I'd show you. And look at that. So we just kind of tightened them to, we figured 100 foot-pounds was close to like a good oomph. And we were pretty close. Christopher's got a calibrated oompher. These are torqued correctly. Whoop. Whoop. There's our line letting us know. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I swooped in and first manned your new tool.
You know, you did. You just kind of grabbed it and you just went to town. Did you even read the instructions?
I'm excited, man.
That's okay.
I prematurely.
Hey, I understand. No, you don't.
When I get excited, I just blow off sometimes, and
It's important though. Store at 50 foot-pounds. Go ahead, I'll let you
Really?
make that adjustment. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
You have to store a torque wrench at its lowest rated setting.
That makes sense
Yeah.
because tension sits on whatever spring or whatever action is in here.
Here's what we're going to try and get done today. Brackets for the brake calipers.
So one of the things about the small manufacturers of parts and things is you don't always get like the full-on schematic, like this is how it all goes together instructions kind of thing, which isn't a problem. I mean, it's not super complicated, but you do have to kind of fiddle and kind of sort it and figure it out. This is called knolling. My buddy Adam Savage taught me that. And when I say my buddy Adam Savage, I don't know Adam Savage. It's just that when you watch YouTubers and you
kind of become familiar with them. You start to feel like you know them a little bit, and I've just started taking to calling my favorite YouTubers my buddies when I'm in conversation. But anyway, knolling. It's when you take all your parts and you sort them and put them together, and that way you know where everything is, and yada yada yada. Makes assembly much easier.
My buddy Tom Sachs taught me about knolling on YouTube. 10 bullets.
Sachs. What does he do?
He's a mixed media creative studio owner guy who's very opinionated.
Tom Sachs is who taught Adam Savage what knolling is, if I remember correctly from the story.
Go to the store. You gotta go to the source, man.
That's funny. And Tom Sachs, I believe, learned it from the janitor that cleaned his shop, if I remember that story correctly.
Oh wow, that's an entirely different story.
The guy would come and clean up the shop, and like, if there was like a workbench that looked like this, he would sweep the floors and clean everything, and then he would take the workbench and just tidy it and like put everything in rows and order and everything, so that when people came back, like it was all kind of cool.
Very cool.
And I think the janitor made up the term knolling. He's like, what do you call that? And the janitor like looked around and like he took the first letters of like the company and some other letters and was like knolling or something like that.
Hey, look.
Yep. That is torqued to spec and marked with a blue marker.
I don't use blue.
So interesting detail. These you have to put in first before you put the bracket on, because once the bracket is on, they do not come out. They interfere here. They go back far enough that you'll be able to unbolt the caliper and take it off, but they will not come out of the bracket because the tolerances are too tight back here for that. So it's just a thing. These don't have a lot of torque, so there we go. For now, this is going to go on finger tight. We're going to have to work out how to torque this down correctly at another time. This is that monster that has a torque spec of what, 350 foot-pounds or something?
Something like that.
Like, it's a monster. And yeah. So anyway, that's that. Look how pretty that is. Well, fun. One of those sorts of things that happens when you're building custom things. The vendor that supplies rotors to the guy who we bought our disc brake kit from sent out like heavy duty rotors instead of the normal ones he gets, and so it is interfering with the brake caliper in its current situation. So we have to send these back and get the correct size calipers. Luckily that doesn't really hold us up too much today. It's a pain, but the bracket is right and the calipers are right, so we're gonna pull this off, put the caliper on, and we'll still be able to run our brake lines and our Bodwin cables for our emergency brake. Anyway, that's where for a wrap.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with the hydraulic cables and the Bowden cables, because we know where those are gonna go and they're not an issue. So we're gonna keep on pressing forward and start at this end, because this is the fixed end, and then we're gonna get our adjustment out of the parking brake end. And this is what we're throwing up there. It just goes through this little bracket. And then everything gets snugged down.
You can see the other end of parking brake cables coming across the frame rail into our 2-into-1 block right there. We cut the cables and then took the TIG torch and just hit the end of them real low with the TIG torch to kind of fuse them all together so they don't come unwound. And then electric parking brake. So everything's pretty much buttoned up.
All right, we're kind of back on track here. We got the rotors shipped back off to get replaced. That'll basically be the brake system here. Well, we did it, Zach. Sort of.
Did it.
We did it.
It was an alright day. Hit a couple snags. Some stuff that held us up a little bit.
Yeah. We need more P-clips. We got to do a little bit more riv nuts. We got to get a new riv nut tool because the anvil, it broke. So that's fun.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get to the point of having the wheels and tires mounted on there permanently.
Yeah, I was hoping to get there.
Yeah.
We were so close. If we had had everything work out right, it would be done. Oh, now that you say that, I feel a little more bummed.
That's okay.
Dang it.
We can take a look though. You wanna?
Yeah.
Let's do a sneak peek.
Yeah, I mean it's right. It's all there. It's coming together. All right there. So close.
Let's do a sneak peek then.
And that's what it's gonna look like. How you like them wheels, guys?
I like them.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very excited about these wheels. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's it for this one. We'll see you next time. Until then, it's your good buddy Zach saying,
Be good, people. Be good, people. Be good, people.
we got it. It's good. It's good. Bye.